Welcome to Wisdom Nugget 60. Listen and be blessed.
Hallelujah. This is JOEPAPA. Today we want to look at what I've captioned, Husbands, Come and Let's Compare Notes. In Matthew chapter 19, reading from the verse 3 to 12, a conversation ensued among Jesus, the Pharisees, and the disciples as follows. The Pharisees asked Jesus, "Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?" Jesus answered them that in the beginning God made them a husband and a wife, and for that matter a man shall leave father and mother and shall cleave to the wife, and the two shall be one flesh, and what God has put together let not man put asunder. The Pharisees asked Jesus why Moses commanded that the writing of divorcement could be issued to the wife to put her away. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so." Jesus then elaborated this further and said to them, "Whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for sexual immorality, and shall marry another, committed adultery, and whoso marries her which is put away commits adultery." The disciples of Jesus immediately said to him, "If the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry." But Jesus said to them, "All men cannot receive this saying except Enoch." This conversation makes us to understand the following. The men in those days were putting away their wives for every cause other than what was instructed in Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1 to 4. Jesus told them that a letter of divorcement could only be issued when the case at hand was a case of sexual immorality, and even the whole issue of letter of divorcement came into the picture because of the hardness of their hearts. Jesus threw more light on this and told them that once you put away your wife and marry another, you have committed adultery, and the man who marries a divorced wife also has committed adultery. This statement is what scared all of them, including his own disciples, for them to say, if that is the case, then it is not good to marry. Their scare emanated from the fact that under the Mosaic law, the adulterer has a punishment of being stoned to death. Leviticus chapter 20 verse 10 and Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 22. Maybe most of them were contemplating issuing letters of divorcement to their wives. I strongly believe all the disciples, including Apostle Peter, could not stand the critical, fault-finding, over-exaggeration, FBI and BNI-oriented remarks and questions, and intermittent nagging and uppercuts coming from their wife from time to time. When Jesus met with the Samaritan woman at the well in John chapter 4, Jesus said to her, "You have had 5 husbands already," meaning she had received letter of divorcement 5 times. This woman received letters of divorcement from 5 men because none could come to terms with her behavioral disposition per time. Individually, the disciples thought each of them had a peculiar case with his wife. Little did they know that this behavioral pattern of women is a common denominator in most marriages. So until the husband begins to see this behavioral pattern of the wife as legitimate and begins to align accordingly instead of seeing it as a nuisance and becoming angry every now and then, he will have a long way to go as a husband. So Apostle Peter, after getting this understanding, said in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7 that husbands must dwell with their wives according to knowledge. You need to know the psychology of women in general and know your own wife as a unique individual and understand her uniqueness to be able to experience a harmonious living at home with her. It is the husbands who have mastered this over time and willing to continue in this same trajectory who are enjoying peaceful relationships with their wives. Harmonious marital home is not a fluke. It is hard work. The experiences you are having with your wife is not out of place. It is your lack of knowledge about women in general and about your wife in particular that is creating all these hula baloos at home. His disciples, including Apostle Peter, said to him, "If the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry." May the Lord give you understanding. Merry Christmas and remain ever blessed.